Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean. It's going to be a very quick video. I just want to talk a little bit about Kell Brook's return this Saturday night. I don't know that much about the opponent, to be honest with you. I've seen a little bit of him. He looks pretty solid. He seems to have quite good technique. Looks quite strong. Seems to have a reasonable engine on him. And he's not one of the best in the world or one of the best in the division, but he's a decent opponent. He's got quite a good record. Nothing spectacular, but they definitely could have picked a much softer touch coming back from two knockout defeats and two serious injuries. So, yeah, they're obviously Kell Brook. I mean, I saw an interview with Kell Brook saying that he needed some kind of challenge to motivate him because he was obviously very depressed after losing his world title in Sheffield at Bramall Lane. Obviously hurt him a lot, so he's a bit down the dumps. So to get him motivated and to get him back in that sort of the mind frame that he needs to be, then they needed someone who was a pretty solid challenge. Now that they've sparred before, so he's going to know a little bit about him. I'm hoping. I mean, I'm kind of expecting Kell Brook to win just because I really rate his skills, his toughness, and all that. The only thing for me is the injuries and how much that's going to affect him physically and psychologically. Because sort of in the Spence fight, like in that 11th round, I mean, credit to Spence, he basically sort of broke him down and just wore him down over those rounds. But there is a possibility that it was sort of playing on his mind a little bit, that injury, when he started getting that same injury that he'd already had from Golovkin. And he's had an operation, the doctor's telling him, would he have taken a knee like that before then? I don't know, we'll never know. But potentially, you have to think, if he does get in a situation like that again, is that going to be in the back of his mind? Do you know what I mean? Is he going to think, well, potentially I'm going to lose my eyesight here because I've already had two severe injuries. I'm moving up in weight. You know, people a bit bigger, bit harder punches. So if he does start feeling something quite serious on the eye, there is a possibility, and totally understandable as well, that he would just sort of, think, all right, that's enough. I hope not. I really, really hope that the eyes are fully healed. And that he can do something moving on now in his career. I really, really hope we can put this behind us and achieve something at either 154 or possibly even come back down to 147. I mean, there's a lot of fights there that I still would like to see. Amir Khan, I mean, I've kind of lost interest in that. I'd see it if I'd obviously watch it if they made it, but I don't believe that Amir Khan will ever take the fight. If he proves me wrong, then good for him, but I doubt it personally. Keith Thurman, I always wanted to see Kell Brook against Keith Thurman. I mean, to be honest, like maybe now if Kell Brook went down to 147, because I don't believe that Keith Thurman wanted anything to do with Kell Brook before. But if he maybe went down there now, just sort of said, yeah, mate, do you want to fight me? He'd probably think, yeah, I'd do that. Anything to sort of put off the Errol Spence fight for a bit more time. But realistically, I don't think that's going to happen because obviously Keith Thurman has got his tune-up fight. Then he's talking about fighting Sean Porter, and that's a whole year out the way. And then after that, I think the pressure for him to fight Errol Spence will be too much, and he will have to do it. So I think Keith Thurman's going to be out of the game for a very long time. Terence Crawford coming up, that would be a fight I'd love to see. Danny Garcia. I mean, Danny Garcia never would have fought Kell Brook before. Maybe he will now. Maybe having seen Kell Brook lose twice, possibly see him as damaged goods. I mean, the fight would have to take place in America, but that's something that I think Kell Brook should have done earlier on in his career, to be honest with you, because the whole welterweight scene was in America. And it's very easy for the top welterweights to avoid Kell Brook. I'm not saying that they're all like ducking him or anything like that, because he didn't really. I mean, Eddie Hearn said he made a few offers to people. I believe him. They didn't want to take it, but they had other options. Do you know what I mean? And Kell Brook was obviously a high risk, low reward for them. I mean, all of the top welterweights were in America, so I think he kind of wasted a lot of time just messing about in England. There was no real competition in England. I mean, yeah, like people like Amir Khan obviously was good. He was based in America. He beat the best people around, people like Frankie Gavin, Matthew Hatton. I mean, these are sort of decent fighters, but they're not world level, and he never really got the respect that he deserved. And it's a shame that he went up to fight Gennady Golovkin. I mean, if it had come off, then you would have said, yeah, it was a masterstroke. And he gave it his best. And after that performance with Kell Brook, quite a few other middleweights suddenly grew a pair of bollocks. People like Canelo, people like Danny Jacobs, people like Billy Joe Saunders. So him going in there and taking it to Golovkin, yeah, it obviously did harm to his career, but it did, give a lot of courage to a lot of other people who've been ducking and made them all look a bit silly. So he did that. Then obviously defended his title against Errol Spence, who in my opinion is like easily the best welterweight in the division. To be honest, before the Kell Brook fight, I said that Errol Spence was the second best. No disrespect to like Manny Pacquiao, obviously, because Manny Pacquiao is a legend, but he's well past it now. He's always pretty small for the welterweight division. He's very much at the end of his career. So in terms of like the new people in the division, I thought that Kell Brook was the best, and I thought Errol Spence was, I thought, probably the second best, but I needed to see him prove it against someone like Kell Brook. He did that, passed it with flying colours. So, who knows? Maybe even if he can sort of get himself back into it, maybe even, sorry, the battery's going to run. Hold on a second. Right, there we go. Yeah, maybe even an Errol Spence rematch down the line. I mean, obviously we'll have to see how he looks in this. Potentially, if he does look very good, then he's gonna, he's got stuff he can do at 154. I mean, you've got quite a few opponents for him. He could. I mean, in England, you've got people like Liam Smith, be a good fight. Who else? There's Cheeseman coming up. There's quite a few people coming up in the 154 pound division. To be honest, the only person right now I would say that I definitely wouldn't give him much chance against is Jamel Charlo. He looks very, very good to me, and he's in real momentum behind him. But apart from him, I mean, yeah, there's some good fighters. I've never been that impressed by Erislandy Lara, to be honest. I think he's a good fighter, but don't see anything particularly exceptional about him. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how he looks. I'm just hoping that he can come back to winning ways. The eyes are okay. I do think having Billy Joe Saunders in the camp with him is gonna help. Obviously, he went out there to Canada. He was a big part of like Billy Joe Saunders, getting back motivated. So hopefully Billy Joe Saunders can really inspire him with that performance to really get back to where he should be. I hope there's a good turnout there as well, because he definitely deserves it, having taken on those two challenges back to back. I mean, because you've got Gennady Golovkin, no one in the middleweight division wanted to fight him. Now, people do. Like, he's a bit older, he's been in a few, he's sort of not looking quite as menacing. But at the time Kell Brook fought him, no one wanted to fight him. Not Billy Joe Saunders, not Danny Jacobs, not Canelo, none of them. And now Errol Spence fought him. No one wants to fight Errol Spence. Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, none of these want anything to do with Errol Spence. I'm not going to go into that because that's another video altogether. But he's basically fought the biggest bogeyman around in Golovkin, and now the new one, Errol Spence, back to back. So I really hope that there's a good crowd and people turn up and appreciate what he's done, and hopefully get back to winning ways. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know what you lot think. Thank you very much for watching.